The first part of his life was spent in group homes and behind bars. Now this Des Moines man is dedicating the rest of his life to making sure Metro youth don't follow his lead. When you take a look at Eric McCuller's rap sheet, it looks like something you'd see from a hardened criminal in a major U.S. city.
But since his release from prison, the 30-year-old criminal turned boxer has been sharing his life story, trying to get kids to set goals and stay off the streets. Tonight, Channel 13's Elias Johnson profiles Eric and a special inner-city program helping Metro youth stay focused.
I was a trouble youth, you know, came up. My father was incarcerated most of my life. My mother was addicted to drugs.
On the road of life, there are always bumps along the way.
I first started running the streets, I was about 10 years old, 10.
Eric McCuller's road began with no direction of where to go.
It was one of the most miserable roads a person can ever take. You know, I wouldn't wish it on nobody.
The streets of Des Moines were his home, his family a local gang, and by the time he was 13, he had already been arrested several times.
Eric ran into problems as he got older because, you know, he became a follower. Not necessarily that he was a bad kid, but he became a follower, and I think it was some of the people that he associated himself with.
Terry Robinson met Eric for the first time back in 1991 as a counselor in a group home for troubled boys.
Eric was one of my first clients that I had, you know, and you know how you meet someone and you know you automatically just click, and that's the relationship that I had with that kid.
For over a year and a half, the two became close until it was time for Eric to go home. In a matter of months, he was in trouble again, a cycle which would continue for several years.
Every time I lost structure, you know, every time I completed a program and it was time to go home, you know, my home was the streets, of course, you know, so it was like right back to the same thing. Instead of, you know, staying in the positive environment I was in, you know what I mean, I led right back to my old ways.
Eventually, his life of crime reached an all-time low.
I was 17, gang member, drug dealer, you know what I mean, involved in a murder, you know. It's like everything went wrong.
Eric spent 9 years in prison, leaving behind 3 young children of his own. During that time, he finally had enough.
My mission in life is to be the father to my kids that I didn't have, and the mother, you know what I mean? If I had to be both, you know, that's when I want to be the best parent, you know. When I rest in peace, that's how I want to be, you know what I mean? That person who changed and his children didn't turn out nothing like him.
By the end of his prison term, he decided to pick up a set of boxing gloves.
It's something that I get a lot of stuff off my chest, you know, by doing.
It's a decision which eventually led him back to Terry.
You're a boxer. It was probably 8 to 10 years span before I had seen him. And so it was difficult for me because I really felt like I invested a lot of time in Eric, but it was me being selfish, you know, because we all reach a certain point in our life where we're ready to change, and it's on our time, not necessarily on somebody else's time.
Today, Terry is the director of Lifeline Resources, an inner-city program for youth offering a wide variety of activities, including boxing. For Eric, it was a sign.
When I see him in here, you know, I look at myself. I see myself. It don't matter what color they are, you know, how they look. I see me, and I know they're in the right place. You know, and I want to do anything to help keep him here.
There's kids that live his life every day, and that's why we established this type of a program to try to prevent them.
Fighting out of the red corner from New Beginnings Boxing Club, Eric McCuller.
Working with kids has given Eric the motivation to get in the ring. He knows it's his turn to be the leader.
I'm more focused than ever, and all it does is just motivate me to stay positive, you know, because that's the last thing I'm trying to hear is people talk about me going down that road again.
He has some motivation. He has some support.
And your winner is
And I think he's ready to make the changes in his life. He's demonstrating that now.
In Des Moines, Elias Johnson, Channel 13 News.
Eric hopes to win the Iowa Golden Gloves title by next year. He's working on getting a biography published so kids outside Des Moines can learn from his mistakes. For more information about the program, you can contact Lifeline Resources at 515-256-8001. And we've also posted this information online at our website, WHOTV.com, on the As Seen on 13 page.
Kids can learn a lot from him.
Yeah, he has walked the walk, so.
No doubt.
Yep.